Hey everybody, it's Gamer Grampz here. Today we are going to be taking our first look at Ethiopia, a brand new civilization coming out to the New Frontier Seasonal Pass for Civilization 6. We're going to be going through the overview video, and then I'm going to be jumping in and basically going over everything we know and digging into the details and saying what I like and what I don't like and giving some thoughts about how I think they're going to be the most powerfully played and what they'll be best used for, and then maybe what they're not so good for as well. So if that sounds like it might be something you'd want to learn more about, then definitely stick around. If you want to get good at Civ 6, then subscribe and click the bell to keep up with this channel. Alright, so first and foremost, we're going to actually watch the first look video here and let it play through. So if you have already seen it and you don't want to watch it, I'll put a link pinned in the comment section down below where there'll be a timestamp. You can just jump straight to where we actually start getting into the nitty-gritty details and going through everything if that's what you're after. With that being said, let's just get to this video and I'll get my ugly face out of the way.
Menelik II leads Ethiopia in Sid Meier's Civilization 6. Best remembered for fighting off European powers, modernizing the nation, and ending slavery, Menelik established Ethiopia as a bastion against colonialism. Ethiopia's unique ability is called Oxuomite Legacy. Its cities earn extra faith from resources, boosted even further when international trade routes originate from resource-rich cities. The empire can also purchase archaeological museums and archaeologists with faith. Ethiopia's unique unit is the Oromo Cavalry. This cavalry unit replaces the courser. It has better combat strength and sight than the courser, and receives no movement penalty from moving on hills. Ethiopia's tile improvement, the Rockhewn Church, can only be built on hills or volcanic soil. And multiple churches can't be built adjacent to each other. It provides faith and extra faith from adjacent mountains and hills. They can only be pillaged and not destroyed by natural disasters. Once you research flight, Rockhewn churches also produce tourism. Menelik's ability is called Council of Ministers. He gets extra culture and science based on his faith output in cities founded on hills. His units also get extra combat strength when fighting on hills. Ethiopia's focus is on a defensive, religious, and culture-centered game. Claim hill tiles early for your cities. The Council of Ministers ability can keep Ethiopia well-rounded, even as you try to maximize the amount of faith you are producing. If you don't win a religious victory, you can still use faith to purchase archaeologists, naturalists, or even rock bands later in the game, keeping a culture victory within reach. Will you resist the powers that come at you from afar? How will you lead Ethiopia in Sid Meier's Civilization 6?
Alright, so first things first, I think their leader looks freaking badass. He looks like some sort of warrior priest if you ask me. But anywho, in all seriousness, let's just jump right into the nitty-gritty details here. So his first feature and ability is the Council of Ministers, and this is ridiculously powerful in my opinion. He receives science and culture equal to 15% of his faith generation in cities founded on hills. Units receive +4 combat strength on hills. Alright, so the part that I think is the most powerful by far is the receiving science and culture equal to 15% of your faith generation. So that's total faith generation too. In the video, it showed there was plus 89.5 faith generated in a city. The city was getting like 31.2 culture per turn just from its faith alone. Like, that is just absolutely staggering, especially with all their different abilities in order to generate faith. And then on top of that, with some of the new recent changes to the religion system and whatnot, that it's going to be very, very powerful. And personally, anyway, I think that Ethiopia is going to be one of the top tier culture civilizations in the game. Like, I cannot wait to start a game with them. Next Thursday when this comes out is actually a day before my birthday. So I know I'm old and I'm not exciting. I'm going to literally probably be playing Civilization like the second it comes out, like at midnight on the 24th technically. I'll probably start recording gameplay footage. Anywho, so the second part of that, it's not not horrible, don't get me wrong. +4 combat strength on hills. It's nice. It offsets the combat penalty that you have as a player on DD difficulty. So, I mean, that's something. And it's not like huge and outrageous either. So it's just a nice little bonus. Not going to break the bank or anything like that. Let's continue on here, shall we? So again, I'm not even going to fucking try and pronounce that, but the something legacy. Ethiopia's international trade routes grant 0.5 faith per resource at the origin. Improved resources provide +1 faith for each copy the city owns. Can purchase archaeological museums and and archaeologists with faith. All right. I know sometimes you wouldn't think English is my first language, but anyway. All right, so this one is actually the first part of this ability, to me at least, it doesn't seem that amazing. Like 0.5 faith per resource at the origin. You're not going to have that many cities that have a whole ton of resources, so you're not going to get that much out of this. Like in the video that came out earlier in the week, it was showing like the city had 2.5 faith per, like an extra 2.5 faith per trade route they were sending out. For me personally, it doesn't seem like that big of a deal. I mean, in most games, even in a culture game, you might have 10 or 15 trade routes like total. So generating 25 faith per turn or a little bit more or whatever, that's not a big deal when it comes to the like total amount of faith that you're generating, especially in the middle to the late game when you're going to have that many trade routes actually up and running, right? Because early in the game, you're only going to have 1 or 2 until it becomes actually feasible for you to get commercial hubs or harbors in the mid game. So it's going to have even that much less of an impact. And so for me, again, that part of it's not such a big deal. However, the second part of that, so again, improved resources provide +1 faith for each copy the city owns. That to me is a very, very powerful ability, because that's like every single resource, generally speaking, you get every single resource in every single city you have improved at some point or other in the game. And especially in the early game too, because I mean, that's every single resource. That's strategic, luxury, and bonus resources that all grant you +1 faith. So I think it's going to be very powerful to get a builder with them fairly early. Get like any of the new maze things that you just have to build a farm on, or get any of that in order to get your faith going that early. You're going to be almost guaranteed, if you go open up like say builder scout or even like builder scout settler, you're going to be like basically guaranteed to get one of the first pantheons, if not the first pantheon, depending on who else is in the game. And then if you take that a step further, you're going to get your faith going so early in the game that this civilization is just going to be stupid powerful. Hey everybody, Gamer Grampz here. I'm quickly interrupting just to say that if you're enjoying the video, please do me a favor and leave a like on it if you haven't already. It does really go a long way towards helping the channel get discovered. And clearly, you know it by now, I'm special. I need all the help I can get, right? Like, they're going to be stupid powerful for the amount of faith they can generate, which is really fun. And personally, I think it's great too that they're not just pigeonholed in one ability. Like say, for instance, I personally like the Mayans more than I like Grand Colombia. Just talking about new civilizations here, because Grand Colombia, you're basically pigeonholed into a domination game. Like, don't get me wrong. Yes, with the Hacienda and stuff and their extra movement ability, that does translate into, okay, you can play other types of victories with them. You don't have to just play domination, but they don't have anything they don't have anything that specifically helps you out in those other victory conditions other than domination. Whereas, say, the Mayans, for instance, they're obviously best suited for a science victory, but you can also do a very powerful domination victory with them because you get their unique unit so early. You have those combat strength bonuses that you can basically roll over any civilization that you start beside, which can give you like a good start on your domination game. And then with their powerful science to back it up, it can really springboard you and you can play domination with them very effectively as well. Whereas Grand Colombia, like I said, they don't have that second ability or like that second option other than like the generic movement and then some production and gold from a tile improvement. Whereas these guys, again, closer to the Mayans, they are obviously going to be very, very powerful when it comes to playing religion games, but then also they're going to be very powerful when it comes to playing culture games, which that's what I'm going to be doing personally. I'm going to be starting a game with them, a culture game right off the hop. I'm excited to get it going, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. But then even they might be a good candidate for playing the religious science game as well, because again, that Council of Ministers, it's so flexible, and then the sheer amount of faith that they're able to generate with all their different abilities, with the Rockhewn Church, their tile improvement that we haven't even gotten to yet, that just sheer amount of faith generation that they're going to have is going to convert into builders and settlers, and then buying your spaceports in time, buying great people. Like, just, I'm really, really impressed with Ethiopia. I don't mean to ramble on so much about it, but it just, for me personally, I think this is a great new civilization that, like, I can't wait to play. And like I said, because of the diversity of their abilities, it just gives you so much flexibility in the way you play it. Like I said, I could easily see this being a top tier culture game, or culture civilization for sure. Same thing with religion, obviously. And then not top tier science, but not complete shit either. So, but anyway, I digress. Let's just keep going here and look at the next thing that we know about. Just wanted to take a sec to let you know I'm now an official partner of Fanatical Games. They're a great company that you can buy 100% guaranteed official game keys from, which is great because you purchase a Steam key, so you don't have to worry about using a different installer like Epic Games or EA's Origin. You can find links in the description down below for both the Windows and Mac versions of the games I usually cover on the channel. But if you're buying anything else, just leave a comment below and I can give you a link for any game you're looking to buy. Believe it or not, they have deals on regularly that are even cheaper than purchasing directly from Steam itself. A perfect example of this is the New Frontier Pass for Civ 6. I literally bought it directly from Steam yesterday when it was launched, only to find out that it's on sale for 12% cheaper at Fanatical for the next 6 days. So before grabbing your next game, consider checking out fanatical.com to help yourself and help support me at the same time. So the last part of that ability that I just took probably like 5 minutes explaining and talking about is can purchase archaeological museums and fuck me, I can't say that right. This is the second time now. Can purchase archaeological museums and archaeologists with faith. All right. So that, again, is very, 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 very powerful, because you're going to be able to, you have so much faith that, like we already talked about, like their faith generation is absolutely disgusting, that by the time you unlock the archaeological museums later in the game, you're going to have such a buildup of faith. Because think about it, like in a religious science game, you have to save that, you're in about the middle of the game, you have to start saving your faith in order to save up for your spaceport districts. Well, there's no fucking spaceport district that you have to save up for in a culture game. I mean, other than having some faith stored up for a few national parks, there's not really a whole lot you have to save for, because rock bands are affordable, and by that time in the game, you're going to have such a huge income of faith that it's not really going to matter. You don't have to save up a long time. So being able that, as soon as you unlock the ability to make the museums, being able to instantly faith purchase them in all of your biggest cities is going to be such a huge boost to your culture and tourism, and your ability to start immediately accumulating great people. It's just, like I said, I'm just so excited to get my hands on the civilization. I really think I'm going to be, like I said, I'm going to be playing a culture game with them immediately, and I'm pretty sure that I'm going to get my personal best, like fastest score ever in completing a culture game with them. So I'm looking forward to trying that out. But anywho, let's continue on our merry way down the list here. So their unique unit, the Oromo Cavalry, I forget, I'm not going to listen to the video again, so correct me if I'm wrong if you want in the comment section down below, but other than that, I'm going to keep powering through here. So the Ethiopian unique medieval era light cavalry unit, stronger and greater sight than the Corsair that it replaces, receives no movement penalty from moving in hills. Alright, so it sounds like a nice little unit here. Again, because of how I would be playing with the civilization, I'm not really worried about the unique unit too much. Even if it completely sucked, it wouldn't bother me, because I would be more than happy to defend myself and like just survive playing the type of game that we already talked about. However, having it be stronger and the sight range is actually, that to me is really nice as well. And then the no movement penalty for moving in hills, it will really allow you to take advantage of maneuverability and setting your units up properly if you did want to use them, or were forced to use them rather, in some sort of combat situation. And then adding that on top of the +4 combat strength on hills that you already have, it to me sounds like quite the combination. Nothing extraordinary powerful, but again, doesn't sound like a complete dumpster fire either. So let's just keep going. All right, and the last on our list here, we got the Rockhewn Church. Unlocks the builder ability to construct a Rockhewn Church unique to Ethiopia. +1 faith inherently. And then it has +1 faith for every adjacent mountain and hills tile. Provides tourism after researching flight from faith. +1 appeal. Can only be pillaged, never destroyed by natural disasters, and can only be built on hills or volcanic soil not adjacent to another Rockhewn Church. All right, this is a sexy fucking tile, like, improvement, let me tell you. So it inherently has a +1 faith, which is just great in general. I'm actually really curious to see when it actually opens up, like when we can build them. I'm assuming it's pretty early in the game. I would guess so, but again, until we actually see for sure, it's hard to say. But because it has such a small natural like plus increase to faith, I'm assuming it would be in the ancient or classical era somewhere that we get our hands on it. But again, who knows? But I mean, just the sheer amount of faith that these can generate is just crazy. Like, ultimately you can get a +6 faith every time you build one of these if you build it in the right kind of spots. I mean, that in itself, again, like I said, their sheer amount of faith generation that this civilization has is unmatched. Like, just silly. Silly in a good way though. Like, it's gonna be real fun to play them. Definitely looking forward to it. But I think I've gone on long enough. I know I ramble, I'm sorry. But anyways, what do you think? Are you looking forward to this civilization? Have you bought the new Frontier Pass yet? What do you think of the new Frontier Pass? I know from reading different forums and Facebook groups and stuff like that I'm a member of, I know a lot of people are unhappy with the whole vampire thing, and like, if it was part of the base game, I'd 100% agree, but to me, it's just part of the game mode that's optional anyways, and it's just to sort of spice things up and change the pace and monotony of playing the same old, so I'm not too worried about it. However, I think they probably could have gone with a more realistic unit, like done the same like strategic game mechanic where, okay, it can like get stronger combat strength somehow when it kills enemies. They could have done that in a different way that was a little bit more realistic and not so fantasy driven. But I mean, I'm not going to cry about it. That whole Secret Societies game mode, for me, myself personally, I'll probably play a game or two with it and then never touch it again. But I mean, there's also a lot of people who actually like that kind of stuff, right? So you can't make everybody happy all the time. But what do you think? I'd love to hear from you. Other than that though, I'm not sure how much experience you have. So if you do want to get better at Civilization 6, I have a series I'll link to in the top right hand corner right now, that there's 5 tips in every video. They're short videos, but they're things that you can learn and improve your gameplay right away, immediately, like starting today kind of thing, if you start to use some of them that you're not aware of. So if you're interested, again, top right corner. Other than that though, I'm gonna actually shut up here. So if you haven't already, please do me a favor and leave a like on the video. It really does go a long way towards helping a small channel like me get discovered, and I'm special. I need all the help I can get, okay? But anyways, I've rambled enough. I'm gonna shut up now, and I'll just see you in the next video.